Sup guys, welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial about Battlefield Conquest and Capture the Flag systems or game modes. I'm just going to work out the logic of the actual game mode. I'm not going to go into the spawning with different classes. If you want me to do that, let me know in the comments. I'm just going to go into the third person template. I'm going to be using blueprints, and I'm going to make this for multiplayer. It should also work with bots, but I'm gonna do it already replicated so you can apply it for your multiplayer projects. I'm just gonna call this Battlefield Game Modes, and I'm gonna go ahead and create the project. I'm going to apply, or I'm gonna remove the Terra content. I don't think we're gonna need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and create the project, and I'll see you when it opens. Okay, so it's opened. The first thing that I'm gonna be doing to make this work is that I'm going to just create a quick way to basically set up teams. So for the logic, we're going to be in Battlefield. You can see that we have two teams, and each team is going to influence how a control point is captured. So if there's like 3 people, it's going to capture faster. If there's just one of each team, it will be stuck. And if no one ever reaches the flag, it's going to be neutral. So that's basically how I'm going to do it. And just so we don't create like different classes and stuff, I'm just going to create a quick way in our third-person blueprint of the character just to quickly assign a team. So I'm going to go into blueprints and open the third-person character. And I'm going to do this in a fairly quick way. I'm just going to create a new variable, which I'm going to call the team. And I'm going to make this an integer, so the teams are going to be 2 numbers. Obviously, we're going to want to have this in an actual game. It's going to be like USA, Russia, China. But here I'm just going to work with numbers. So it's going to be team 0 and team 1. I'm going to make sure to replicate the variable. Let's just compile and save it. I'm going to set the team to -1. So we actually have to set our team once we start the game. And the way that I'm going to do this is that I'm going to use the key 1 and the key 2 to basically assign the teams. So I'm just going to create an event, a custom event. I'm going to call this, first of all, because we are receiving information from the input, I'm going to do a client event, and then I'm going to pass that information to the server. So I'm going to do client assign team. I'm going to replicate this on only client, make it reliable just to make sure. Now I'm going to create another custom event, which I'm going to call server assign team. And let's replicate this on the server. Let's make it reliable. And now we're just going to go into the team. I'm going to drag this variable over here. I'm going to set it, and I'm going to create a new input. And now I'm going to call the server function on the client side. So now I can go into the numbers themselves and call client assign team. And if we click on the keypad number 1, I'm going to go into team 0. And if we click on the numpad number 2, I'm going to go into team 1. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. So this is a very quick way to, instead of having like different character classes, I'm just going to work with numbers. So in the real game where you will have like the scout, like a USA scout, USA assault class, instead of using numbers, we would use like the team tag. So if it's someone from the USA team, you could like have this like with like a selector where you could select the team, or use a string where you could actually write the name of the team. I'm just working with numbers, just easier to explain. So now I'm just going to create a quick widget, really quick, so I can actually have a way of displaying this information on the screen so it doesn't get confusing. So I'm just going to go into the blueprints, and I'm going to create a new widget blueprint, which I'm just going to call it HUD. It's okay. Let's go into the third person character. and we can do a new custom event called client underscore create HUD. Let's make this replicated on the owning client. It's really easy. Let's just create the widget. Can be the HUD. The owning player, because this is on the client, we can get the player controller, the local player controller, and then we'll just add into the viewport. And just for referencing, I'm going to go into the HUD, I'm going to go into the graph, and I'm going to create a new variable, which I'm going to call the player. And I'm going to make this of the type third person character. And I'm going to enable it to be editable and expose on spawn. So I can compile and save. And now if we refresh this blueprint, right click, refresh node, we now have a player input, which we can just drag and call self. Let's compile and save. And we can just, instead of doing on the begin play, I'm just going to call this over here. So when you call the client assign team, I'm going to call client create HUD as well. So basically, when you click one of these numbers, you're going to create the HUD. And now we're going to display that information on it. So let's go quickly into the designer and go into some text. I'm not going to do anything fancy, just really quick. I'm going to bind the text, and this text is going to be really easy. So I'm going to go into the player, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get the team. And now I'm going to append. This is going to work with strings. Basically, an append node, you can like mix strings together. So it's really cool to make this kind of text. So I'm just going to do team, 2 points and a space, and then drag the team into the B input. Oh, sorry. There you go. Compile and save. Now we can just quickly test this. Let's go over here. First of all, delete the default third person character that is over here, and just duplicate the player start. You can Alt and drag these little arrows to duplicate stuff. Now just go over into the number of players, set it to 2, and create new editor windows. Now you should have a server tab and the client 1 tab. You can see that there's nothing. I'm just going to click on 1. And now you can see that we are on team 0. Now if I go into the other window and click on 2, you can see that we are on team 1. So that's really quick, a basic team system. So now from here we can work on the actual control points. So for the control points, I'm going to create, right click, new blueprint class, actor, which I'm going to call a control point. And so first thing, let's go into the class defaults, make it replicated so we can use it on the online environment. And let's create a variable which we're going to call the control name, or the point name, sorry. So the control point name, I'm going to make that a string. I'm going to make it instance editable. It doesn't need to be replicated, we're not going to change that. But we're going to need to, so the controller. And the controller over here is going to be an integer. This controller is basically going to be whoever controls this this control point. So if it's a 0, it's going to be team 0. If it's a 1, it's team 1. And if it's any other number, it's a neutral flag. So I'm just going to set this to a default of -1. And remember to make this one replicated. So now let's go over here. Let me assign the components now. So I'm going to do a static mesh. I'm going to make that, I'm not going to make that the root, because now I'm going to do a sphere collision. So we're going to use this to identify the radius of our control point. So I'm going to call this the radius. I'm going to make this the default scene root, make new root, and the static mesh is just for we can visibly see where the control point is. I'm just going to use a cube. I'm going to make the radius default, I don't know, 256. And I'm going to go into our variables. I'm going to create a new variable called radius. I'm not sure that's how you spell it, but it's okay. So I'm going to go into make it a float instance editable. I'm going to compile. I'm going to make the default 256 again. It doesn't need to be replicated. Now into the construction script, and I'm going to use the construction script to set the value into our radius, because the construction script executes in the editor, not just when the game is playing. So you can actually adjust this in real time and see the difference. So go into the construction script and get the radius, and then drag the radius, and I misspelled that, but it's okay. Set sphere radius, there you go. Update overlaps, you can leave it turned on, and now just connect this over here. Now if you compile and go into the editor, you can drag a control point. Now you can see the radius, you can see the cube, and now if you go over here into the point name, I'm not sure if you're going to use this, I'm just going to call it left. And now if you go into the radius, and if you change this, you can see updating it in real time. So I'm going to leave the radius like this. Now I'm going to duplicate this again, holding Alt and dragging the little arrow. I'm going to call this control name right, and I'm going to leave it, I'm going to make the radius a little bit bigger, like that. I'm just showing you examples how you can actually do a control point in your game. Let me see what we're going to do next. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave them both neutral for now. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to go into the radius, and I'm going to create two events from this list, the begin overlap and the end overlap. And from over here, we're going to do a couple of stuff, or a couple of things, sorry. And the first thing is, I'm going to do something, so other actor, I'm going to cast to the third person character. And I'm going to set some information over here. So let me create the variables for it. The first variable is going to be the control point name. Actually, I'm not going to bother with that. You're going to see the example. I'm just going to call it the control, or the current control. This current control is going to be the number that is going to be actually saying who is controlling the control point. So this current control is going to be an integer. I'm going to make it this just so we can show on the widget, so I'm not going to replicate it over in the character. There's no need to do that. What there is need to do is create the same variable over here, and I'm going to call it the current what did I call it? Current control, there you go. And it's going to be an integer, and this time is going to need to be replicated over here on the control point BP. And let's see, now we're going to need to think on the mathematics behind this. So basically, if it's a 0, we can say that it's neutral. If it's this value is minus 100, it's going to be controlled by team 0. If it's 100, it's going to be controlled by team 1. You can do something like that. I think that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm sorry I didn't really prep for the tutorial because I don't really have a lot of time, and I have today with a bit of free time to do this tutorial, so I'm not really prepared. I'm doing it like freestyle, but I think this is going to work just fine. So when we begin the overlap, I am going to drag from the third person character and set the current control. This is not going to work because this is going to be just executing once. You know what? It's easier if you do it this way. Let's go into the third person character. Let's right click, promote to variable, and overlapping. No, but we can't do that either. I'm really sorry about this. Let me just pause for a minute and figure out what's wrong, and I'll get back in a minute because I need to rethink what I'm doing because this might not work as I was thinking. Okay, so I think I found a way to make this a little bit easier. So just go into the third person character, and instead of having that integer, just go and create in the place of that integer a new variable and call it control point and make it of the type control point. So we're gonna get the reference from this BP. So now it's really simple. If we actually overlap, I'm gonna cast to third person character. And then I'm gonna set the control point reference to myself or to the actual current control point. So drag a reference to self, and then I'm going to Control C, Control V this into the end overlap. And I'm going to delete the self, so I'm going to set the control point back to null. Now we can go into our head, go into the designer, and let's drag another text. I'm going to leave it on the right this time. I'm going to create a new bind for it. I'm going to drag the player. I'm going to get the control point. First of all, I'm going to check if it's valid because most of the time we're not going to be overlapping with the control point, so this variable is going to return null. So for us not to get any errors, we need to check if it's valid. If it is, we're going to get the current control. Let me right click and do another append node. So the first one, I'm going to display the name of get the name, the point name. So on the A, I'm going to do the point name. Excuse me. Now I'm going to do a space, actually 2 points in the space, and I'm going to add another pin, and I'm going to drag the current control. And then I'm going to return this value into the return node. And I'm just going to Control C, Control V the return node. So if it's false, I'm just going to put nothing. So let's actually play and see what happens. Let's just do this. There you go. I'm going to click on 1. I'm going to be team 0. If I overlap, you can see that the control is 50. So I rethink the numbers, and 50 is going to be a neutral flag. 0 is going to be team 0, and 100 is going to be team 1. So if I get out, you can see, and now the control point name is right, and it's also 50 because it's neutral. And we can go into team 2, or team 1, sorry, and it shows exactly the same thing. Okay, so now that we have these values displaying correctly, we are going to need to now actually make the math. So I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call this I'm going to call it team 0 number. I'm just going to leave it at num, and this is going to be replicated, and this number is just going to say how many how many players of team 0 are inside the radius of that control point. And then we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to duplicate for team 1. And now I'm going to create a new custom event. And I'm going to do a server, because we are just working server side right now to do the math things. Add player, or I'm just going to call it add count. And I'm going to do an event for each team. So I'm going to do add count team 0. Control C, Control V, server, underscore, add count team 1. And it's going to be fairly easy. So I'm just gonna need a new input, which I'm gonna know is entering. So this is gonna let us know if the person is actually entering or exiting the control point. Because if it's entering, we're gonna need to add a +1 to this count. If it's leaving, we're gonna need to subtract 1 from the count. So let's do a branch. If it's true, I'm gonna go into team 0. What the fuck? Sorry. My mouse is a little bit weird. So let's go. Add a +1. Let's set the number. And now let's just Control C, Control V this. But instead of a plus, we're gonna do a minus. And now we're just gonna duplicate this logic. Add it over here. And we just need to replace this team 0 with team 1. So over here, and the setters as well. Let's go. Let's just duplicate this. Don't forget to connect the branch and this last inputs. Okay, so now we have the logic over here. So now let's see what we call over here. So now I'm going to go into this third person character. Okay, I think we can do it this way. So let's get the team from over here. Let's do a branch. Oh, not this, sorry. Drag from the team integer and just do an equal to 0. If this is equal to 0, then that means that we are adding the count to team 0. So let's do server add count team 0. And is entering to true. And if it's false, it's going to be server add count to team 1. And is also true. Okay, we have a problem. Let's refresh the node. And refresh this node. There you go. And this entering is also going to be true. And let's make it reliable. There you go. Let's compile and save. And now we also got to do the exiting. So let's just copy this logic Control C, Control V, and let's connect this into the third person character. And let's just uncheck the is entering, and there you go. Now that we have an actual number over here, now we're gonna need to do the logic of adding and taking away control from each team using this number over here from the current control. How am I gonna do that? I'm gonna do an event begin play. Now I'm going to do new custom event, which I'm going to call server underscore. I'm going to just call it set current control. I'm going to make it on the server. I'm going to make it reliable. And I'm just going to do something that is a timer. So I'm going to set the timer by event. And I'm going to create a new custom event. I'm just going to leave it null name, doesn't matter. And on this null name, we're going to call what we just created, server set control, set current control. There you go. And over here on the timer, I'm just going to do loop this every second. So this number over here is basically going to be the rate of the control changes. So I'm just going to go ahead and promote this to a variable. I'm going to call this control change speed, and I'm going to make it instance editable, so we can change this from outside. The default is going to be 1, so I'm going to set on the left side, I'm going to set the control speed to 2. And on the right, I'm going to set the control speed to 0.1. So it's really slow to change. Or, I'm sorry, really quick. Because remember the timer, if it's on 0.1, it's going to do 10 times a second. If it's on 2, it means that it's only going to execute once every 2 seconds. So the bigger the number is, the more time it's going to take. So it's kind of reverse logic, but you know, it's easy to understand. So now let's do the logic itself over here. I think I'm gonna do, you know what, let me try and do a sequence. Let's see if this works. So let's do a sequence. Let's go into the current control. And let's do a minus team 0, because remember, if this number is 0, that means that team 0 controls it. So I'm going to get the number of players from team 0 inside the zone, and I'm going to subtract that from the current control, and I'm going to clamp this. A clamp is going to limit of how much the variable can change. It's going to be between 0 and 100. And then I'm going to set the current control. There you go. And now it's basically the same thing. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to substitute this team 0 number by 1, by team 1, and I'm going to make this a plus, because we want to increment this to go up to 100, so team 1 actually controls it. And then we are going to check, well, the controller. If this equals, I'm going to do a branch. I'm going to get the current control like this, and if this equals to 0, actually we can do this each side, sorry about that. So just connect this into the setter over here. This is equal to 0, that means that the controller is 0, so it's team 0. Gonna duplicate this. If this equals, set it to the setter of the bottom side. If this equals to 100, that means that the controller is going to be team 1. And if anything else is false, oh, I just remembered that. You know what? I think we can leave it like this. There you go. I think it's going to be fine. So now let's just go into our HUD and let's create another text. This time I'm going to leave it on the middle. I'm going to anchor it to the top and I'm going to bind. I'm going to get the player. I'm going to get the control point, or not the controller, the control point. And let's get the controller. There we go. And now let's do something. If this is equal to 0, actually let's do something called a select. And this is very cool. The return value connected into over here. So if 0, I'm gonna call this team 0. Actually, no, it's not gonna work. Sorry. So let's do an equal. Not create anything confusing. So if it's 0, we are going to set the return value to be team 0. If it's false, we are going to check again to see if this is 100. And if it is 100, let's Control C, Control V. This is going to belong to team 1. And if it's false, meaning it doesn't belong to either team, we're just gonna say it's neutral. And I think that's it. Just remember to check if it is valid, so we don't get any errors. Always make sure to check if the control point is valid before executing anything. So let's compile and let's try this on. I'm going to click on 1, so I'm team 0. So remember, this is going to execute every 2 seconds. So you can see over there the control status of the left flag. It's going slowly down, just to make sure that the values are replicating. And I'm going to go with team 1 over here. And you can see that the value actually updates and it starts going up. And if I go to the right flag, you can see that the value goes fast. And you can see when it reaches 100, boom. Wait, what? The text didn't update. Let me just check why that is. If equals a 0, it's going to say team 0. If equals 100. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting the wrong variable. Instead of controller, get the current control. It's the wrong variable. Over here on the middle text, go into the bind and change the controller variable that you're getting from the control point to the current control, because we need to get that value. That's why it wasn't updating. So let's try that again. It should be working now just fine. I'm gonna click on team 0. So let's go. It's gonna start going down really quick, and it's gonna say when it reaches 0, boom, we are controlled by team 0. Now if we get away and go there with team 1, You can see it's neutral because we are capturing the flag, and boom. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm just remembering. It, Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking stupid sometimes. You was right. We need to get the controller. We don't want to get the current control. It was correct. The thing that was wrong was these values. If it's 0, it's team 0. If it's 1, it's team 1. There you go. Just change this equal, change this back to the controller, and change the second equal to 1, because that was 100 was the wrong value. So now it should work just fine, just like Battlefield. So let's go into 1, now we're into 2. Let's get back to our team 0, just to be different. The value will go down. It should say that we're gonna get neutral. Boom, team 0. There you go. Now let's go with team 1 and approach that flag. And it's controlled by team 0, but now we're capturing it. This is just like Battlefield. And once we capture it, we are able to use it. So it changes back to team 1. There you go. And I think that's everything. If you have anything else that you want me to do about this, the actual Conquest game mode, let me know. But now we can do different control points with different capturing speeds, different names. And yeah, it's basically this. This is the raw logic. I also showed you how to display this on the widget on the side of each client. So I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna do another video soon about actually doing another Battlefield game mode, but that time, the next time is going to be capture the flag. So it's a bit different over there on the logic part of things. So I think I'm gonna just create a new project entirely because the logic is it's different. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you see the next videos, and see you later. Bye bye.